Okay, so Christy, you there?
I'm here.
You're unmuted. Everybody can hear you. We can hear them. That's really good stuff. I want to welcome everybody to our Mastermind with Neil Schwartz. Our special guest today is Christy Couch. She is from the Washington, D.C., or actually outside of Washington, D.C., about 4 hours. But she's going to share all kinds of really good stuff with us today. We're excited about that. We are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. So they're going to anyone that's got questions on YouTube and Facebook, please don't hesitate to put them in there. Robert's going to man those chat boxes. If anybody's got anything coming through, we'll know about it then. So Christy, I want to open it up with you kind of sharing a little bit of the Reader's Digest version of you, your life, your business. Kind of give us a little bit of a taste of what you're up to.
Okay, so thanks for having me. I started in 1991 in the industry. I was at that time going to college to become an English teacher. And wow. Yeah, my first job was part-time at a real estate company where I was just, helping with administration, answering phones, that sort of thing. I stayed with that job for 2 years while continuing to go to college, and then I got promoted to, working with commission checks and doing the office management, started weighing the commission checks to, English teacher salary and said, I'm out of here. So I got my license. I met Mike, that was 1993-ish. So I met Mike at about 1994, 5-ish. So very early on in my early 20s by that point. And, let's see, I went from that real estate company to another company where I was still working as an assistant, even though licensed, helping the two owners of the company manage a huge planned unit development. And was there for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years. He is the one that introduced me to Mike.
Uh-huh.
I saw the panel, saw a couple of top agents speak on the panel, and somehow got in connection with them, went to work with them, stayed there for probably 5 years, and then got pregnant with my first child and decided to move to Roanoke, which was about 3 hours away from where they were, and decided to go out on my own here, and that's kind of how I got in, and here I am, still here.
So that's really cool. So what, about 30 years in the business?
Yeah, 29.
29, yeah. So 30 years in the business, young lady to 30 years in this business. Good for you. Congratulations. I'm sorry. Yeah, right out of high school. All right, that's really cool. So out of high school, doing business, pretty much in the same general area as you are now.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours away.
Got it. Okay.
When I moved here to the new town, what was really neat for me is that I had the Mike Ferry system because I didn't know anyone here except for my parents. Oh, I had no sphere of influence, no high school friends or anything. So I moved here. I was 5 months pregnant. Noticeably pregnant, but came here in January, and by June I had 19 pendings. So I got all that.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. So how many years in your old marketplace, your first marketplace?
So my son was born in 2000. So from 1991 to 2000 was in the other city. And I kind of did a little bit of everything, operations management,
Sure. Okay. Were you doing sales at the time? Real estate sales? So no real estate sales in the first company.
Right.
Okay. But you were exposed to Mike Ferry and the Mike Ferry thinking, et cetera, but no real estate sales. It was more administrative and management stuff.
Right.
Maybe doing a little bit of training for the company at the time.
Right. Training the buyers agents, training the listing and closing managers. I would send them out to the assistance training school, and then when they would come back, I would help implement it.
Got it. So in the year 2000, you moved to Roanoke, 4 or 5 hours, 4 hours a day, I guess, basically, 4 hours away.
Right.
Got it. And started in January from zero.
From zero.
Okay. The only people you knew in the town were your folks.
Yeah. I didn't even know how to get to the grocery store and back.
So this was not your hometown that you went back to.
No.
So you started from ground zero with just some basic Mike Ferry training, I guess. I mean, you knew the scripts and dialogues because you knew them.
Yeah, I mean, because yeah, I knew the scripts for sure.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it. But you
never
didn't know
got
the market, had no idea the marketplace to speak of.
Oh gosh, no,
Okay, didn't really know how to price property.
no.
Okay, and went to work and then started as your own practitioner or with a company?
With a company. It was a kind of locally owned, no franchise. It was called Owens and Company.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So, but they were a respected organization in town.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And you started in January, and by June, was it your son was born?
He was born May 27th, and
So by May 27th, you had 19 deals
19 deals.
while you were pregnant and in a new community.
Yeah.
What the hell am I doing?
I don't know. It's hilarious
The
because
heck? What do I do?
I mean,
Jeez.
I'm really pregnant, and they'd be like, "Well, what are you going to do when the baby comes?" And I was like, "I'm going to keep working." And my family would make fun of me because I was literally in the delivery room making calls because
I'm sure you were.
cool. So anyway, that first year I ended up with a total of 39 deals.
So 39 deals the first year, brand new market with a brand new baby.
Yes.
Have you always been a high achiever, or is this some switch that, you know,
Um,
where does that come from, Christy? That's not what we would see as kind of normal.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, my dad passed away when I was 18,
Okay.
and it was like, I was either going to go one way or another. And fortunately, I was exposed to Mike like right after it happened, and I just latched on. I'm
Wow.
at to cry thinking about it because
No, it's emotional what you've done.
yeah, because I mean, my life had I not been exposed, to him and all the people and everything would have, who knows?
Could have gone a different way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
I just really latched on. I mean, if he said read a book, I read a book. If he said, show up with this, I showed up with that. And just,
Wow.
I just worked the system. That's it.
Right. So when did your father pass away?
Let's see, I graduated from high school in June. He died that November. And
Okay.
he had a rare blood disease. He had it since I was 12. We knew it was terminal. So it was a long, drawn out, yucky, from the time I was 12 to 18.
Got it. Wow.
And let's see here. That was 1990. So I got my real estate license the following summer in 1991.
So Christy, let's fast forward for a second and put this into context. 2019, you did how many transactions?
Last year we did 180.
180 transactions. When you say we, do you have a small team? How's that work out for you?
Small team. Last year it was basically 4 of us, and then this year we've definitely added on some buyer agents.
So the 4 of us were admin people or what?
Okay, so I don't go out anymore on listing appointments. I'm kind of like what you are. I still prospect though and bring in the business, and then I have 2 listing agents and 2 buyer agents and 2 admin.
Oh, got it. Okay, so basically you're the broker leading the team.
Yeah.
So to speak. Okay, but you're generating the business.
Yeah.
By the way, Christy,
I don't own the company. I own my team, obviously, but I work for a Remax. Actually, just got a broker's license on Friday.
Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's fantastic. Okay, and the goal for 2020?
200.
200 transactions. And how did COVID get in the way? Did it bother you? Did it slow you down? Was a speed bump for you? How was it?
Nothing. I mean,
Nothing.
we are slammed and have been all year. Mentally, I think had I not been plugging in, I'm sure it probably would have got to me. But as far as business goes, I wouldn't say that has had an impact. We're like a lot of the markets. We don't have enough inventory, and listings are selling as fast as they're coming on the market.
So tell me about mindset. Tell me about, getting up in the morning and doing. How old's your son right now?
He is 20, almost 21, and he actually is one of my listing agents.
Oh, interesting. He chose not to go to college?
He went to college for a semester. After all that, that you do to get in there. And he marched for their band and came home for the holidays, went back after holiday break, came home, and we were watching the Super Bowl, and he said, "Mom, I don't want to go back." And I had sent him to get his real estate license the summer between high school. I said, "You got to get this just to get it out of the way." And so he has sold 81 homes in the year that he's been here.
Wow. Those genes are strong in your world.
Well, I don't know. He has a coach, and he just does what he's told.
Yeah. Well, you kind of think that's normal. Most real estate agents don't think it's that normal. So good for you. Congratulations. So Christy, how do you work on your mindset? Is it books that you read? How do you, we're most of us in one way or shape or form or another are exposed to Mike and all the different trainers, et cetera, and they have particular things that they say, okay, and they tell you certain things to do, like you said, read a book or whatever, do some door knocking or learn this script or whatever. Some do, some don't. What made you be the do?
I think that it was income the way back then, because you're either going to make X amount as an English teacher or whatever it is that you're going to go to school to do.
So what did you expect to earn as an English teacher? I'm sorry, just to put some context to this.
50,000.
So that was back in 1992, 3, 4, or 5. You'd make about 50,000 a year as a teacher.
Oh, let me take that back, Neil. It probably was more like 30-some thousand back then.
Back then.
Right?
Okay.
I remember.
Okay, and you could probably earn as much as 50,000 if you got going here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And your first year, you earned what with your 39 transactions?
Oh, geez. Well, let's see. The average price range here is about 200. Back then, let's just say my average price range was 100. 117-ish.
So doing 40 transactions, you'd make $117,000.
Yeah, and based on an average sales price of 100,000, which
right.
Our average sales price now is a little bit higher than that, but for our area is only 230. So we have to sell a lot here.
So 200 transactions is worth what? Is it worth $1 million?
That's my goal, Neil. I haven't hit that. The biggest year I've had is 883.
200. So Christy, I'm curious. I ask this question occasionally. When do you plan on moving cities?
I think about it if I have a daughter who's 16 in the 11th grade. So a couple years I'm here with that. And then, I think about it. Because obviously it can be done. Move anywhere.
It is done. It is done. Clearly you did it. You went from a standing start a number of years ago without any real database or past client or sphere to do 40 transactions, 39 transactions in your first year. So clearly it can be done.
Right.
And clearly you are capable of doing it. So I'll ask again, when do you plan on moving?
Maybe in a couple years.
Okay, good job. We'll work on that. So tell me, how about books you read, mindset? I mean, what help us understand you so that we can help ourselves, Christy?
Oh, I wish it could be all peachy and everything. But honestly, for me, I'm really a moving away from pain type of person.
Okay.
And let's create that, nothing is working. And I mean, to start every day at zero. It's just, I've always had that mentality that I don't have anything, so I better go create it.
Right.
I'm not one of those that I'm in the thinking big group, but it doesn't come natural for me at all. It's
Got
very,
it.
so it kind of like just, Nike, just do it as far as getting up every day and doing what I have to do.
Do you read any particular books, or are you
I
looking at
do.
any particular phrases?
I mean, I'm always reading, 2 or 3, 4 books at a time. I have them all over the house and, definitely
Anything? What are you reading particularly right now? Can you give us
right
a
now
couple
I'm reading
titles?
Thinking Outside the Box.
Okay.
Mike's, I've read that in the past and I'm revisiting it. And I do a lot of landmark training. Like I had a landmark performance coach for about 5 years and just took a break here in the last month or so.
Okay. Got it.
So, coaching is a big part of it because I have the Mike coach, then I have the landmark performance coach, which kind of helps me more with the mindset.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being everything, 1 being nothing, when you're and who's your coach right now?
John Joseph.
John Joseph.
Yeah.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, Mike and John give you a certain set of tasks in a given month or so. I mean, what percentage of it do you do, Christy?
70.
Okay, good. Good for you. What is the stuff you don't do?
I honestly am probably prospecting 2 hours a day instead of, should be prospecting 4.
Okay.
I allow myself to get involved in stuff that I don't need to be involved in.
Okay. So you're not going on appointments. You've trained your people to go on appointments.
Yes.
Okay. So your job really is to generate an appointment and then hand somebody, one of your team, one of the two, you have 2 people that do that?
Listings, yes.
2 team members that go out and you generate listing appointments, and on the way you're generating buyer appointments too?
Right. I'm not doing enough of what you're doing, the role playing, the practicing with them, the really training them. I could be doing more of that.
Well, I have to tell you, I do a lot of it. Nobody's producing like you are.
Well,
so why don't we let's talk about this, because there's got to be something you can do and something I can do. And we can figure this thing out and help everybody. Yeah, help everybody get to the next level. I mean, we do a lot of that stuff. Fascinating. Wow, this is very, very enlightening. Very cool. So on days you don't feel like working, what do you do?
Work.
I get it, but what helps you get to that?
Gosh, Neil, honestly, I mean, my coach has to convince me to take vacation. Like, I have to get accountable with taking a day off, which is not good. I mean, it's bad. No. I burn out and I get irritable, and the mindset goes to put. But it's more that I need to be talked out of working than it is. I just get up and do it anyway. And then once you get in motion, it gets better. I mean, if you don't feel like prospecting and you dial the phone anyway, and after a couple of calls, you feel
like being in the deal. It's the first call that's the bear, right?
Yeah, the first.
The second one and third one aren't that tough. So you're working with your son, correct?
Yeah.
Sounds like he's pretty good at what he does.
Well, he is not. He has not produced one deal himself outside of a friend or family that called because he's in the business. So you talk about your people. Well, I can't get him to be effectively on the phones daily either.
Oh, interesting. So if you're not handing him an assignment, and he goes and he gets it, Christy, right? He does. Right. So you've taught him to go get it.
Right.
What are, I mean, if 70% of the time, 80% of the time? What's his number for listing appointment to?
Pretty good, I mean, I'd say 75, 80% without looking at the analyzer. He's pretty
Okay.
good, but you know
Okay.
how it is. We've got the pre-listing package process. I mean, a lot of times they're a yes before he walks in the front door.
Got
So,
it.
a coach is working with him on, he did the prospecting clinic, and if, I think his age gets in his head, or, lack of people skills or something. I mean, because he certainly knows the scripts at this point.
So one of my new things in the last couple of weeks, I don't know where this came from. It was an old thought that Mike had given us, is that the problem and the reason we don't get massive success is because we have moderate success. And I'm wondering if some of that doesn't apply to your son. Just a thought. I know it applies to a number of my people, that they're really good at this level.
Yeah.
So they don't go to this level.
Right.
So that's.
I actually was that way, even up until the Superstar Retreat last year, because I was stuck in this price range, and I don't know, I was talking to somebody. It's like, why don't you raise your average price range? And I was like, rah, rah, rah. And then, I came back and finally just did it. And, our average price range has slowly gone up. And now, we're selling $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 homes. Whereas before, I don't know, I had it that, like, if it was above 350,
Interesting. Can you talk about that for just a little bit on how you went? I mean, our higher price point is probably 800,000 from 500,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's starting to inch to $1 million, but we have some issues. What were your issues about going to that next level? Was it? I mean, I don't know what type of home you live in, or where, who you hang out with. Was it a little of the socioeconomic thing that was keeping you down, or was that part of it?
Yeah, like my family doesn't come from money at all. Like my whole family, they're completely dysfunctional, and it's crazy. I live in a $700,000 house, so it's not mine, but yes, probably my background, my upbringing, my family, just, yeah.
Okay. All right. And what did you do? What were the activities? Somebody told you, somebody suggested, you kind of fought it, you pushed back, but something happened for you to kind of click and try to move that price point. What was it, and how did you take action with it?
It was the panel for sure. Hearing Karen, hearing somebody else, and me think, God, I'm so tired of working so hard. Like, just give yourself a raise already.
Right.
And so what the action that I took is I started, because I mean, honestly, Neil, I would throw the expireds away. I mean, if they were above 500,000, I just thought I'd mail to them, but I wouldn't call them.
Huh.
So I started calling them, and then I started.
Wait. I guess maybe I didn't hear that right. So if it was a $500,000 and above expired, you wouldn't approach it.
Mm-mm.
Because why? Help me here.
I don't know. I was scared, uncomfortable.
Interesting.
Didn't think I was good enough. I mean,
Okay. All right. So what switched?
I'm done with that. I'm done with that, and I'm calling, and I just do now. I mean, now I'm calling. We have a lake area that, like I just called today, 1.5 million. The last week I called 2.3 million. And these people are so nice. Like, anything that I had going on in my head is not the case at all. And, there's the specialist in our area that, Callie Dalton, Janine Hansen, they're the luxury specialist, it hasn't even come up. But I had all this stuff going on that, and nothing that I thought has happened since I've started calling and working the upper end. And,
So, wow.
We're not there yet, but it's like building,
Sure.
And so.
So Christy, and the luxury specialist, how many houses do they sell?
Oh, no, I mean, I don't know.
6, 8, 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you're at 200 transactions. How many people sell more than 200 transactions, or 200 in your market?
None.
No one, right?
Right.
So you are the 800-pound gorilla. You just don't think you are.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Good for you. That's exciting.
Yeah. And it really had me stopped.
I want
But
to be the president of your fan club.
yeah.
Well, that's very cool. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to ask it one more time because just to say I just decided. Was there a moment? Was there a thing? Was there a mantra to yourself? Did you look at your kids and say, by the way, are you sending your son out on the more expensive listing appointments?
Yes. And he's
Okay.
lost.
And he's
Uh,
what?
he's lost some.
Okay. Okay. Is it a
But
higher percentage?
well, so I think he had it going on that I can't this, that, the other, and then John's working with him on objections to overcome how it's great that he's 20 years old here to sell their house. But I don't know. I look back, Neil, and think that maybe I should have gone with him. I didn't here nor there. But at the same time, you have to lose to learn how to win.
Right.
And to say what happened, well, I took him to I spent the first year just sending him to everything Mike Ferry, production superstar, productivity school, and he came back and he would stand over me of those expired listings that were above 500,000 and say dial the phone. Yeah, easy for him to do, and he's not doing it yet. But when you've got your son looking up to you, and are you going to do it after being at the retreat, talking with the and everything? I had to do it. So there was kind of a little bit of accountability there.
So let's talk about that for a second. You have him as a presenter, so there's an accountability on your part to make sure that you're setting appointments for him, and there's an accountability on his part he better come back with the listing.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, and we have some of our people work together with spouses and kids and things like that. What's the pushback on that? Have you guys had some issues, or it's never been? Sorry?
Oh yeah, it's been nasty sometimes because I'm a driver, and John has to get after me, like settle down, simmer down. He's going to get there. You didn't happen overnight, and neither is he. So I have unrealistic expectations, maybe. So yeah. Oh, we've had blow ups. I told him to go back to college and find his own. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I get
Getting
it.
through it and continuing, and then I think it's all a lot of it's definitely in the coaching and listening.
Good. Excellent. Fantastic. This is very cool. Very, very cool. Christy, what would you call one of your superpowers?
Discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consistency. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. So I think I'd asked you this when we chatted on the phone for a couple minutes. I wanted to ask you, is there an objection handler or something that you say or do when you get into a certain situation, whether it's commission, whether it's I have a friend in the business, whatever, is there something that you kind of fall back to that's always kind of a help, it helps you push the deal across the finish line?
Not one objection in particular. Honestly, me and two other top agents wrote a book called Now What Do I Say? And it is it's just an objection handler book where we got together and wrote objection handlers for all of the objections, just as a practice more than anything.
That's the English teacher coming out in you, huh?
Yes, so I get to fulfill that dream. Yes.
So is that a book I can buy?
I mean, yeah, but you don't need it. Always. But yeah, I love writing, so I love handling objections, and but there's not really one in particular that I can think of.
Nothing that jumps off the page to you, huh?
Not really.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. That's fantastic. Well, I would like to get a copy of your book, so if you make sure you text or email me that, and that's great. And if any of the other agents want to do that, they can do that too. Absolutely. So let's open it up to questions, please. You up to a few questions here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, excellent. Okay, so Robert, do we have anybody questions from our Facebook group or YouTube?
So one of the questions that came in, get this for everyone, is, as a new agent starting out, what would you say to them to generate the amount of business you did starting out?
Okay, that's a great question. And I always called expireds and for sale by owners, but there weren't a lot of them. And honestly, I felt more comfortable with straight out cold calling. And I asked my broker, I said, listen, I want to, in this new town, I didn't know where to call. So I said, I would sell 100 homes a year. What neighborhoods sell around here that I can call and find listings? And he told me. And back then, I don't know, Neil, you probably remember this. It was called the Crisscross Directory. It was a blue book, like yellow pages. There was no auto dollars or anything, but I'd go and look up the streets. And I mean, I took 19 listings one year as a direct result of just calling people and saying, hey, this is Christy with the Crouch team at Remax. We have a lot of folks looking to buy right now, and I was just calling to see if you happen to have any plans on selling your house. I mean, just simple. That's it.
Right.
And I was really good about sending notes. Like if people were open to a conversation, and I didn't have that 7 days or less thing. I was trying to build my sphere of influence and build a pipeline. So I got magnet business cards and would send them a handwritten card with a magnet business card. And still to this day, people are calling back because I kept the card. It's on my refrigerator.
Right. Very cool. Good. It's a good answer. Thanks, Robert. Any questions for Christy? Give me your questions, please. Josie, please.
Christy, I've been to Roanoke.
Have you? No one's been to Roanoke.
No, I couldn't believe it. For an ERA top producer retreat.
Oh.
Wow.
It's all very rural. I saw.
Yeah.
I came on the train from Washington, D.C. Anyway,
Okay.
You were afraid to call higher end properties. And I understand that, your reasons. How about the two listing agents? Are they mentally at the place where you have been regarding going out to talk to those people higher end?
My husband and my son are the two listing agents. So, yeah, my husband, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any type of fear. He just goes out there and talks to them. And Seth, my son, a little bit because of his age and just lack of people skills, I think. So he's really working hard to develop that.
Well, I like what you said, and I'll tell you, Neil, is that you said, it's just the system. I get appointments, we do the pre-qual, we do the listing package, and the people sign.
Yeah, that's it. It's just,
go figure.
We should have that mental attitude. We don't.
Right. If we could just take this out and just do the system, I mean, that's really all it is.
That's great.
Great. Thank you.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Okay. Other questions? Karen, do you have a question?
Yeah. Thanks, Christy. Hey,
Hey.
how does that verbiage go when you're on the phone with the client and you had this rapport and now you're sending your son or your husband out for the appointment? How does that go that they're not expecting you?
We just tell them it's gonna, we're a team, and we have, fortunately for you, we have a specialist in each area of the business to make sure that we take excellent care of you, every step of the way. So I'm in the office, all day, every day, and my listing agent, who's also my husband, is going to be the one to come out and take a look at your home and meet with you and, discuss exactly what we're going to do and go over the market research with you and take care of getting everything up and running. Most of the time, they're like, great. Every now and again, somebody, will get, and then we just explain it to them again, and most of the time, they're okay with me not coming out.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Christy, you'll go if you have to, won't you?
Honestly, no.
Interesting. So this is a mindset from your perspective, and it doesn't get in the way, and your job is to set the appointment, give it to the team, and the team will handle it, and you trust your team.
Yes, and I've had to be willing to lose some at the same time, and The ones that I do take, Neil, are the ones that call in and they're a past client and just,
Let's do
DocuSign the
this.
contract.
Yeah, let's do this over the phone kind of deal,
Yeah,
right?
I'll take
Yeah.
some every now and again. One thing that I never did was work with buyers from the very beginning.
Okay,
Always-
never.
No.
You either gave them away or didn't work them.
Yeah.
So, Christy, I get this question all the time from agents that say, "Yeah, but these are my past client in Sphere. Don't I have to do something with them?" What'd you do with those?
You mean listing folks that are past clients?
So if it was a buyer, is a
Oh,
buyer and they wanted to buy something, they wanted to look at property. Maybe they're going to list with you. Maybe they're going to list. Maybe they don't need to list, okay? But they're going to buy something or they want to buy something. Are you going to show them property?
no, I've always referred them to, a buyer's agent.
You-
And I think it's how you present it to them, because I just say, well, whether they're your partner or not, they're always your partner because they're working with you to work with your buyers. So I would always just say, my partner will be the one to show you around. And I do, and still today with the buyers, I do a lot of the kind of behind the scenes as far as what are you looking for, how, the pre-qualifying of the buyer. And then
Okay.
sometimes I'll even email them homes. And then once they're ready to go out and start looking, then, okay, great, my buyer's agent will be the one to show you around.
Okay, so you're still in the process. You might even pick properties for them. You might even go over a financing strategy with them.
Yeah.
But you're not going to put them in your car and you're not going to meet them at a house.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. Somebody else is going to do that for you.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, other questions for Christy, please. Tess, did you have something?
Oh, thank you. By the way, thank you, Christy, for being here. I want to understand the process where it seemed to me you're the one who's actually really more of the sales, getting people. How did you get your husband to train your husband to be that listing agent? Like, we go through this process. You got to be making the call, and at the same time, you got to be good in being in the listing presentation. How did you get your husband started on that? Because I really want to learn how to do that.
I knew where this was going.
Well, that is a great question. And he, let me think about this. When he first joined the team, he just shadowed me all the time and listened to what I said. And, he coaches with John too. And I'm like a slave driver around here with, listen to this, watch this, do this, and I think that it's, that's in the training too. It's all in the system.
Yeah.
When he wrote the listing presentation out every day and, role play in the office and things like that, just, and they're better, honestly, at studying the numbers and the CMA and stats than I am, because I don't have the patience for it. Like, I just want to say, list at this, because I know that's what they should list at. I don't want to sit there and go through all those comps and they're better at that than me because they have the patience. And my son was going to be an engineer, so he loves to sit there and talk about that stuff.
Got it. Can I assume that your husband is probably analytical and you're the driver expressive?
My son is analytical, yes. I am expressive driver, and my husband is amiable all day long.
Okay, that's a good
So
point.
he loves to sit there and talk to the sellers about blah, 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 blah. To me, the listing appointment it takes up time, and I just want to get to the next one, bring in the business and have them take care of it.
Got
Now,
it.
I did go on the listing appointments for years, though, obviously, before I got to that point. And it's just in the system. If you read that script every day and you write it and you say it out loud and you role play, it has to become it's like who you are, just like that.
All right, that's good. My last question would be, being, a woman and then a man, I'm sure that Neil, you can agree to this. Men
Not yet.
usually have that ego type thing, So how were you able to overcome that with your husband,
Oh.
Yeah.
You mean about her being in charge all the time?
But no, my husband is okay with it, but sometimes, you know, he just has that, because he listens to me. He's with me with appointments. He almost would be a good real estate agent, and it's just that he doesn't like the prospecting like what we do, but he's a closer, you know? So is it the ego? How are we able to overcome the husband-wife relationship of an ego type thing? I mean,
It sounds like he's perfect to do that, because if he doesn't like prospecting and you do, then let you do that and let him go on the appointments. And he's winning because, I mean, you know, no matter what we do behind the scenes, whoever goes out on that listing appointment, they've got to win and they've got to close them to bring in the deals. So that feeds their ego, right?
right.
Or should.
I'll take your class. Thank you.
I don't have one, but
I
okay.
love one. I love it. I love it. Good stuff.
Christy, what I've gotten out of this so far is if you ever want to start a woman's group, you got half the Masters agents already on your side trying to figure out how they can get their husbands and kids to go work for them. Okay. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if Todd was listening to Karen's question earlier, but you know, I hope he's well aware of where this is going.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're a husband and wife team, I mean, you can really drop the business and keep the money in the family.
Yeah. No, you're right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And then Tess, you already know my favorite saying, your ego is not your amigo.
Your ego, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, so Michael, you had your hand up earlier.
Yes. Well, thank you. So I think she already answered my question, but I have a follow-up question on that, right? So you have your husband and your son as listing agent. Who else is in your team? Like any buyer agent or any staff, salaried employee, or and once they take listing, who will be the one who's handling all those things?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, over the years, I've had it set up in all different kinds of ways, but right now, those two are the listing agents, and then I have one full-time buyer agent. One is pretty much full-time. He owns a Smoothie King restaurant, so I don't know. He goes and does whatever with that for a couple of hours a day, but that's my second buyer's agent. And then I have two full-time admins, one that is going to handle just the listings and one that's going to handle the posts.
Got it.
One of those is taking a real estate license Friday, and she
Okay.
is paid on a per closing basis, and the other one is hourly.
Got that. So two admin full-time, and they're obviously salaried employee. That buyer agent, do you just 50-50 the buyer with them, or how does that work?
60-40, I get 60, they get 40 if it's a team generated deal.
Mhm.
If they generate the deal, it flips. They get 60, I get 40.
I love it. So 40-60. Okay. And you would actually provide you will provide the lease to the buyer agent, right?
Yeah.
I got that. And how do you keep track of how they work? What if they just just sipping smoothie all day? Like no way to track them, right?
Well, she's not paying by the hour.
Okay.
No.
She's not paying by the hour. So if they don't close a deal, they don't get paid.
Got that.
Right.
Got that. Okay.
And
All
the
right.
people that get paid by the hour work in the same office you do, correct, Christy?
Yes.
Yeah. So she's able to monitor them and do that. But it's the other. Any virtual stuff going on, Christy, with the this whole virtual thing? Did that change anything you're doing?
Not really.
No. Got it. Cool.
No.
All right.
All
Right.
right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Good stuff. Last question for Christy. We need to wrap this. Anyone else? Anyone? I want to give everyone an opportunity. Nope. Okay, Christy, this has been great. Everyone unmute yourselves, please. Unmute yourselves. Let's give her a big hand. Woo! All right. Good job. This has been fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Christy, what we do right now is we're going to ask a couple questions of what we learned. It's kind of something that we traditionally do at the end of these events. You're welcome to stay around and listen, or if you need to go out and make more appointments, and direct traffic on your listing agents. I get that.
Okay.
So, but thank you so much. This has been so enlightening and so refreshing. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
I'm going to head
You
out.
too.
Take care.
Woo,
Bye-bye.
all right. Good job. Good job. Wow. That was a different approach. Like that. Different, but similar. Interesting. So what did we learn there today? Go ahead, Robert.
I got multiple things out of this. Number one, I like when she referenced starting every day at zero, and she said, I've always had that mentality that I don't have anything, so I need to go create it. And I mean, when you have that mentality of someone has a team that's going to close 200 deals, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Very powerful.
And I also like when you asked her, on days you don't feel like working, what do you do? Work. Oh, okay. Got it.
There was a few things like that.
Yeah. Or it's just like,
I didn't realize I had an option.
Yeah.
She didn't say those words, but clearly that's what goes through her head. I didn't realize there was an option. She is discipline and consistency are her superpowers, clearly. Discipline and consistency. And you think about how disciplined that she has to be. Tess, she's taking Don't Go to Fontana to a whole new level.
Okay.
Think about it. She sets the appointment, hands it off, totally gives it to someone else she's trained, and knows that the best they're going to get her is about 72% return on that deal. And yet she's okay with it. Why? Because she's going to make $1 million this year.
You know what I like about her, Neil? The background, I think, is of her. She was a school teacher, wasn't it?
Well, no, she was going to be a school teacher and then chose not to do that.
She has no problem delegating.
Yes, that is true. That is true. However, I didn't ask her this question. This is just an assumption on my part. We can get her back on the line another time. I would suspect she spends a lot of time teaching her, whoever does whatever does what she do. She trains the heck out of her husband and her son. And that's why I asked that question. Probably the most difficult relationship to manage is family.
Yeah.
And her two generators, her two listing agents are husband and son. That's a great manager.
Tess has been training her husband for years. This is fun, right up her alley.
Good point. Okay, what else did we learn? Albert, you got something? I just saw you come on.
Just the fact that the way she's able to work with the family and the fact that she runs the show, to me that alone is very impressive. But to be able to work as a team, I think it speaks a lot for herself as a leader.
Totally, 100%. We agree. Okay, what else did we learn today?
It's me, Neil Rosa.
Go ahead, Rosa.
I like when she said it's just a system.
Yeah.
It's just a
To me,
system.
it was like, don't get any emotions or fears. It's just a system. Just follow it.
Just follow it. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, good observation. Josie, did you have your hand up? Did I see? No?
That's what I was going to say, just what Rosa said. It's just, we got to get it out of our heads, all the stuff we put in there. Just do what we're supposed to do.
Got it.
Do the listing package, and they'll sign it.
Got it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic stuff. All right. So thank you very much. She did a great job. Do we have her information over there, Robert, posted yet? Just want to make sure that her information gets posted and you have
It's
referrals.
there right now. Miriam just posted it. Thank you, Miriam.
Great, Miriam. Thank you. Miriam, do me a favor. Will you order one of those books from her for me? Thank you, wherever you are, Miriam.
So
Let's
Neil,
get
what
that.
was your big takeaway?
It is, the system. This is kind of what I'm getting clearer as the last few weeks have been going by. It's the system. It's all the elements. It's not one thing. And if you give it away, I mean, clearly she generates the leads. No one else does because she's having trouble getting them to make phone calls. Okay, right? That frustrates a lot of people, but she generates the lead and hands them the appointment and then sits back and continues to train them so that they're doing 70-75% listing appointments. So she's clearly good at what she's doing, and she's clearly good at handing off the baton. I'd love to get that good at being able to do that and help you guys with that. I really would, and I will work toward that.
You can generate the leads for us, Neil.
That would be good. That would be good. And what kind of a deal does she have? Like 60-40, 60 goes to her, 40%?
You give me 10 a month, I'll be more than 10% will be more than enough.
That is a tempting opportunity. But I don't compete.
Neil,
But I don't
to that
compete with my
point-
people.
To that point, her system works kind of like what you were saying, is that she's very good at what she does. That only works because she must be just a monster on the phones. I mean, she's generating because if she's generating all the business and handing it off, that means she on the phone is generating 200 deals worth of deals.
Well, if you back up, well, if you back up because they're only getting 30%, they're only getting 70% of that. So she's probably generating 300 appointments.
Right.
She's generating
like 300 appointments that they actually go on.
Yeah, she's generating 300 appointments they go on. So you're right. She's probably generating 400 set, 300 gone on, 200 transactions.
I mean,
wow.
I mean, that's why it works. I mean, she's just a monster on the phone.
Yeah. Tess, there you go. Tess, 300 appointments, give them to the boys. Okay? Take them out of school. School costs too much anyway. Karen, there's something here.
I heard
Karen, you got those boys in school. We've been trying to figure out how to take care of tuition. That's the answer.
That was a beautiful time.
Make them generators instead of end users. That's great.